The next guy we're talking about, it feels like he was getting overhyped. He was the tight end darling of the offseason. And then DeAndre Hopkins signed, and suddenly everyone couldn't jump off the ship quickly enough. It's Chigoziem Okonkwo. Are you a believer? Or are you thinking that this is just another option on the Titans offense that we just don't want?
I don't think I feel quite as strongly about Chigoziem Okonkwo as you do, Rich. I think you're more out on him than I am. The Titans, they targeted the tight end position at the 12th highest rate in the last year, and under Ryan Tannehill, plenty of tight ends have been fantasy relevant. So I do kind of lean into that slightly at times. And it's, it is definitely harder to get on board with it now we've added DeAndre Hopkins. Before DeAndre Hopkins was there, I think I was more in at cost because I think it was very easy to look around and go, okay, well, he's only competing with Treylon Burks and Nick Westbrook-Ikine for targets. DeAndre Hopkins is absolutely a volume hog. And even though Chiggy, down the stretch between weeks 12 to 17 last year, he had 2.5 yards per route run, which was the third highest among all pass catchers, not just tight ends, with, all players with 10 catches or more. I think he's an incredibly athletic player, but I just don't think that this offense is going to be able to sustain even 2 pass catchers, because I think the offensive line is going to absolutely stink. I think Ryan Tannehill is probably going to be in and out of the lineup. I think we've got a very difficult start to this season. It wouldn't surprise me if we see a quarterback change earlier than possibly some other people do think. And yeah, I don't mind taking shots on Chiggy in best ball because I think he has the kind of ceiling which certain tight ends don't have. But it's a very difficult sell for redraft for a team that will possibly score an average of 18 to 20 points per week.
Yeah, I think for me, you touched on some of those advanced numbers, and it felt like all offseason, those advanced numbers were thrown down my throat because that's proof that he was going to be a superstar. That 2.5 yards per route run, 26% targets per route run. It's like, okay, that's great. The reason those numbers were so high, because he only ran a route on 36.5% of offensive passing plays. Like, if you're hardly on the field, yeah, your advanced numbers are going to look great because there's not the volume there to sustain it. Yeah, there is absolutely some talent there. There is potential that he could break out. But I just don't think that he is going to be consistently on the field enough to be able to be fantasy relevant consistently. Yes, there will be some spike weeks, and I get what you're saying about, in best ball, that's fine. But in redraft, I want a guy that I can plug in, week out. The Titans' offensive line is the worst in the league by an absolute mile. They are going to need every single piece of help they can to block. They don't need a huge athletic freak of a tight end that can't block and needs to line up in the slot in order to function. They're going to need that prototypical 6th offensive lineman in order to protect the quarterback to be able to get the ball to DeAndre Hopkins and downfield. So I'm just worried that he's not going to be on the field enough, running enough routes to be consistently reliable week in, week out. And that's why, for me, he's an easy fade at current cost.